Hey, it's Chris, and I am in the forests of British Columbia this time. And I thought I would use this short little hike to demonstrate something. So as you can see, all around me is forest. And the question that popped into my mind was I was thinking about you and your music. And the question is, how do you know what path to pick? How do you know where to go? What's your sound? Who are you? What's your brand? All of these questions about how you stand out in the music licensing industry comes down to who you identify as and who you define yourself as. And how do you pick? I mean, we've got pop over here, we've got hip hop over there, we've got some classical right there, we've got all kinds of different music that you can pick from. All kinds of different instruments, all kinds of paths that you can take through the forest. So what do? Do you need to see the whole forest? No, you don't. You simply need to get to where you want to go. You want to pick your path the way you see yourself, but how do you pick that? How do you figure that out? So as I was walking through these woods and thinking about this question, it sort of came down to the idea that what we do in life in general is we need to pick a path that we know that defines us and that suits us, that feels right, it feels natural, it feels something that we were called to do. So when you're sort of trying to figure that out and you feel like you're sort of lost in the woods sometimes, you don't know sort of where to go, what step to take next, what path to take, and all of that, it's important to ask yourself, what is it that you see yourself doing for the next 5 years, the next 10 years? How do you see yourself? Where do you see the most beautiful sort of vistas? Where do you see yourself sort of self-actualizing what you're doing? I'm talking about in terms of your music, also life, but your music as well, of course, right? So some of the ways to figure this out for me has always been that you have to follow that old adage that 1,000 no's lead to a yes. That means there are so many options, there's so many places that we could go right now and here, and I'm picking one defined path, I'm making a decision and doing that. I'm ignoring the rest. There's an infinite universe out there that I will never see. There's a bunch of things that I will never do. There's a bunch of things I want to do that I can never do. There's no time. It's impossible. There's all these things that I want to do, and I can't do them all. Some of them I can't afford to do. Most of them I just don't have time to do. And there's no sense in stressing about it, right? There's no sense in saying, should we have gone this way or that way, or, in this forest. It's like I've got, the sun's gonna go down in several hours. I've got a choice to make, and I've got to pick my path. So in your music, as you're trying to figure that out, the important thing to do is sort of think of the things that you grew up with, the things that feel natural. What is your sort of family? What's your musical family? And I mean the kind of, what's the campfire? What's the tribe? What's the group that surrounds you, and what makes you feel great? And follow your heart with that and pick out the elements of those things and make a decision and say, this is something I see myself doing. I can't do everything. There's so many things that tempt you in different directions. 1,000 no's lead to a yes. Ignore those things, okay, the best you can. It's fine to change and pivot and be inspired by different things. That's not a problem. I might walk along here and go like, you know what? That looks cool over there, and take that path. But I'm not spending the whole walk thinking about all the paths I should be taking, and by the time I feel like maybe I figured it out, well, the sun's going down, I gotta head home, right? It's just the walk was no fun. So always try to think about what can you say no to? Go by deduction. If you don't know what it is, deduct. Take things away. Say, I don't want to do that, or I want to do this more than this other thing. And you're left with sort of the things that you're thinking, wow, I've got 10 things left here that I think that are cool. So for example, do you want to have beats or real drums in your music? Just typically. Okay, maybe the answer is in between. Maybe some beats and some drums. Okay, cool. Are you more pop? Are you more blues? Are you more, where do you feel most comfortable? Not how you foresee your music being, but sort of how do you feel about it? What's gonna make you good? Because you're good at what you love to do. So let's say it's blues. Okay, so beats and drums with blues. That's kind of cool. Now, is there anything else? Do you want to do, now you're saying, wait a minute, you like the bluesy angle of something maybe like a vintage Portishead. Now we're introducing something else. So it's bluesy, Maybe it's kind of bluesy the way, you know, Lana Del Rey does a couple of her songs, you know, Amy Winehouse. So you start to define that. You start to pick out what those things are and make decisions about how you're going to navigate, you know, your path through music. And why is all this so critical? Why am I talking to you about this? This is so critical because in licensing, music supervisors need to know who you are. Now, it all comes down to the song, for sure. But to be good at something, you've got to make a decision. You've got to decide, what am I going to do? Who am I going to be? How am I going to present myself? And work at that particular thing. Follow that one path. So I encourage you to take the time, try to figure out what that path is going to be for you. Again, it's okay to, you know, go off the beaten track and do different types of things, but generally head in the same direction. Figure out who you are and stick to that. Say no to the rest. When you have time to experiment, you want to put out a disco record, go for it. Who cares? But if you're really trying to make headway with your music, most of us, including myself, are not good enough at doing a bunch of stuff, right? Mostly we become a jack of all trades and a master of none. And we don't want that. We want to be a master at something. Even if it's one thing, be that master at that, and that will bring you the success you're looking for, will certainly help you get your music into TV and film. So anyways, tell me your story, where you're at. Really curious to know like how you feel about all this. Are you lost in the woods, or do you have your path? Are you on your way? Let me know right below here. Leave me a comment. I read every single one. I respond to them all. Can't wait to hear what you've got to say, and I'll see you there. All right, have a good one.